Maryland and California, when you spread forth your, now you quote Isaiah 1:15 and 16, when you spread forth your hands, I will hide mine eyes from you. Yea, when you make many prayers, I will not hear. Your hands are full of blood. Verse 16 of Isaiah 1, wash you, make you clean, put away the evil of your doings from before mine eyes, cease to do evil. Please explain this chapter and verse. Well, in verse 10, it states, hear the word of the Lord, ye rulers of Sodom and people of Gomorrah. And then he goes on to say, in other words, what he's saying is when you spread forth your hands, he's saying, when you pray to me, I'm not going to hear you. Why? Because he was disgusted with what was going on in Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah, for those of you who don't know, read Genesis chapter 19 if you want to know what God thinks about perversion and homosexuality. He destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. And what he's saying there is, straighten up, in verse 16, wash you, make you clean, put away the evil and that you're doing from before mine eyes, cease to do evil. Straighten up and fly right is what God is encouraging. And of course, who is that written to? It's written to Israel. And then you follow in 2 Kings 3:17 through 20, for thus saith the Lord, ye shall not see wind, neither shall you see rain, yet that valley shall be filled with water, that you may drink, both ye and your cattle and your beast. And this is but a light thing in the sight of the Lord. He will deliver the Moabites also into your hand. And you shall smite every fenced city and every choice city. And it came to pass in the morning when the meat offering was offered, that behold, there came water by the way of Edom, and the country was filled with water. And what was going on here, this was of course the words of the Lord spoken by the prophet Elisha. And what had happened was Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, pretty good king, or a pretty righteous man, but he joined with Jehoram, the son of Ahab and Jezebel, that tells you enough, king of Israel, joined hands with Jehoshaphat and the king of Edom, and they all went to fight against the king of Moab. And they got out in the middle of the wilderness and had no water, and they were about to die. The soldiers, of course, at this time, when you brought an army, you had to bring something to feed them with, cattle, sheep, etc. And they about lost the whole thing. And at the beckoning of Jehoshaphat, they went to seek word from the prophet Elisha as to how can we get out of this mess. And of course, when Elisha saw Jehoram, he said, what are you doing here, thou son of Ahab and Jezebel? What have I got to do with you? Elisha didn't think much of Jehoram. Warren